Another one is, especially in big families. Some families, it's only the household that comes together over Christmas. Some families believe everybody from the family gets together, and suddenly there's like 20 people, and then we have to try and buy gifts for everybody. What also happens is everybody says, no, you don't have to get us gifts, and then you're the only person who hasn't bought a gift, and then everybody looks at you funny because you're the one that's not in the Christmas spirit. So this is an oldie but a goodie. If you have a big family, if you have a group of people, use the Secret Santa principle and just get everybody's name in a hat. Everybody pulls a name. Nobody knows who's getting the gift for whoever. Put a cap on it, and then you only buy a gift for one person. Everybody gets something for Christmas, and everybody's have a cap so that there's no overspending. So that's always a good one. Okay, number 11, and this is a challenge, guys. I want you to not spend any money on takeaways in December. So try not to go out and buy takeaways once. Now, I know most of the time this is not completely practical. But again, the amount of money we spend on takeaways is astronomical. So try and stay away from that. What we do, and I know now the moms are going to all be upset with me because they usually make the food, and then they say, but I never get a holiday. So even when it's Christmas, even when it's the festive season, I still have to cook and clean and whatever. So what we do over Christmas is everybody in the household gets a chore. So there's a list of chores, and everybody's responsible for one of those chores, either for a couple of days and then it rotates, or every week and then it rotates. So that's the first thing. So every person has the opportunity to cook for an evening or cook a meal or whatever the case may be. And now you can say, but my children are still small. I can't get them to cook a meal, but you can already start getting them involved in deciding what to make, helping out, and it's a nice time to spend with your children as well. But try to stay away from the takeaways. Here's the thing, a lot of people say, yeah, but if I go to KFC and I buy a bucket and I buy some, I don't even know, I never buy KFC, so I don't know what a zinger meal. For my family, it's going to cost 300 Rand. And if I go to Checkers and buy 300 Rand of food for dinner, it's going to cost me more than 300 Rand. But what they don't take into account is when that KFC is done, it's done. It's one meal and that's it. There's no more food. You buy 300 Rand for one meal. When you buy 300 Rand's worth of groceries for a meal, you might have some of that ingredients left, or not might, you will definitely have ingredients left you can use for another meal. You'll have leftovers that you can eat the next day as well with that 300 Rand. So it's not just that meal and it's done. You buy ingredients like you'll buy butter, and that butter will last you for a week or 2 weeks. So it is always much cheaper to buy the ingredients to go and make the food than going and taking or getting takeaways. Okay. Number 12. Plan your menu up front for the week. So this is something when I was still a young boy and a young man, and I worked for a company called Housewares where we did direct sales. We went out and we went on to field trips. We were like 5 young guys that had to work on a shoestring budget and all have to eat. We learned this. What we do is the first day we sit down and we create a menu for that week in advance. Once we have that menu, we then calculate what ingredients we need to make that menu, and then we go and buy that. You would be amazed how far you get with a little money if you just do a little bit of planning up front and get your menu set out and only buy what you need for that menu. Okay, I've got another comment for Warren. I'm running out of time again, and I've got about 3 more points, so we'll go over a little bit just to finish. Warren says the other way to do a Secret Santa type arrangement is a gift lotto, where all the gifts are capped at a certain price range. As people arrive, they take a number out of a hat. At present time, people choose their gifts in order. They pick a gift off the table and unwrap it. They can either keep it or they can swap an unwrapped gift from someone who has already gone. It is a lot of fun. Yeah, it does sound like a different twist on the Secret Santa. It could actually be quite fun. Just don't let them unwrap it first and then start swapping out, because that might offend a few people. But yeah, that sounds like a lot of fun. Thanks for that tip, Warren. Okay, number 13. Take some time when you go do shopping and use cash to do your shopping. Now, I know the security risks. I'm not saying walk around with 10,000 rands cash in your wallet the whole time. But do go out once or twice, take your kids with, and buy the things at the store with cash. You will be amazed at the different feeling when you have to stand there and count out 1,500 rand or 2,000 rand for some groceries instead of just swiping a card. Banks make it easier and easier for us to spend money, and they do it by disconnecting us emotionally from the actual act of spending the money. Because the more disconnected we become from the act of spending, the easier it is for us to overspend. I mean, you stand at the till and you just swipe your card. It is no emotional effect. You're disconnected from that. But if you stand there and you have to go and count out the cash, completely different scenario. So just sit and go and do some shopping in cash and just get that feel again of what a 2,000 rand feels like, what 3,000 rand feels like. It makes a huge difference. Then we have the envelope budget. This is also an oldie but a goodie. If you want to, you can take money for each person's budget, put it in an envelope, and you know this envelope is for my son, for his gifts, and you use that money for his gifts, and when it's done, it is done. So the envelope method. To get back to Warren, would you recommend for cash given to kids at Christmas? I would look at that when they are a little bit older. Where they can then go and decide what they want to do with that money. As part of that, I would also teach them the option of saying, listen, you have this cash available. What we would suggest is you take a portion of that money to spend. So you're going to buy a gift, you're going to do with it whatever you want. A portion of that you want to save, and a portion you want to give, take and use it for gifts for somebody else. So you give your kids a sort of a mini budget exercise, learning experience, instead of just giving them the cash and they just go and waste it on whatever they feel like, because kids don't always understand the value of the things they buy. So yeah, with a little bit of guidance, it can be a very great learning experience. But like I said, teach them to take that money, take a portion of that for spending, take a portion of that for saving, and take a portion of that for giving. So buying gifts for others, for example. Okay. Last one. So again, this is something that not everybody would do, but if you do your mini budget with your family and everybody has a budget for their gifts, you can also use Bring to create a wish list for everybody in your family. So instead of just going out and you having to do all the effort and work to find an ideal gift, you give your children, give your family members the opportunity to put 5 or 6 things on their wish list that is within that budget, and you can then go and pick one of those for them to buy. Again, it helps us to stay within that budget and not overspend over Christmas.